Hello, everyone, and this is my very good friend, and he actually do research much better than me. And we have co-authored so many papers on esports, in particular focused on Chinese market. And now we are looking, we're trying to expand our research, not just focus on esports, not just focus on Chinese market. So we try to expand our horizons to do some comparative study. So now we have collected some data on Asian games. That is a really representative case study right now because that has been included in the eSport for the first time. And Professor Lin, we are colleagues when we worked in Sun Yat-sen University. Now he is a great professor in Jinan University based in Guangzhou. So now let's move to the stage to Professor Lin.
And thank you, Yupei, and thanks for the kind introduction. And this is Professor Lin. Yupei and I have worked together for the projects of esports in China for many years. And today I would like to share one about recent work, which we will use Foucault's theory about the technology of the self, but we're more focused on the other side about the deceptions, or we call the technologies of the self-deception, to discuss many key issues in esports about the so-called confidence, the optimism, and the effort of Chinese esports players. So first is about our understanding of esports and its players. As we know, esports is a fast-growing industry that is attractive to young people. Nevertheless, esports players face numerous challenges and are under great pressures in their gaming practice and daily lives. And furthermore, these pressures may be shaped by factors such as the precarious nature of their careers, because the golden age in the professions, and the impact of national policies, unions, and audience. So the means and strategies these players employ to establish their own subjectivities require scholarly examination. So this is the basic, the beginning of our studies. So about the background, in this study, we explore the subjectivity of esports players in China, where the cultural traditions of despising games, street game industry's control, and the burgeoning esports market coexist. So through the comprehensive interview with 30 esports players, we explored how they secure their livelihoods and ultimately establish a series of practices to construct themselves as esports players. And in the late 20th century, Foucault introduced the concept of technologies of the self, emphasizing that individuals employ diverse strategies to present themselves in professional settings. So we adopt these theoretical perspectives and extend its implication to the context of the digital era. So esports has emerged as a major global gaming and contemporary media industries, creating new forms of work and transforming existing forms. This has yielded both new career opportunities and significant profits for a range of actors, including players within the industries. But in the context, professional gamers often work long hours with little job security or benefits, and may be subject to exploitative contests or unfair treatment by team owners and sponsors. In addition, the competitive nature of esports can lead to high-level stress and burnout among players. The average career of a typical esports player is very short due to physical functioning, with approximately 1/5 of professional athletes' careers lasting 2 years or less. So we can see the unstable situation here. Next. Therefore, when it comes to the precarity and disposabilities of Chinese esports player, the distinctive local effect in China cannot be ignored. From one perspective, this is because China's esports industry lacked proper structures, governance, and guidance in the early days. Furthermore, many young people view gaming as many people, not just young, maybe parents, right, or the teachers, view gaming as a waste of time or even harmful to young people's health, with the monetization expressed in terms such as digital healing, right, and spiritual opiates. Unlike other drugs, opium carries a more negative connotation in China because people can often associate with the first opium war of the 1840s, right? So the development of esports in China is an anomaly because it fails to negotiate a symbolic relation between the economic capital required to fund and propagate them and the social capital that makes widespread play and enjoyment of universalized competition solely and culturally legitimate. So scholars have proposed several potential solutions to the instability and exploitations faced by esports players, but these means are outside, not inside. So we would like to improve course theories of the technology of the self in the specific context of neoliberal China. And the technology of the self permit individuals to effect by their own means with the help of others a certain number of operations on their own bodies and souls, thoughts, conduct, and ways of being, blah, blah. And that's the original definition or the explanation of course technology of the self. And we examine the role of the individual in his theory of power, about power, truth, knowledge, and eventually the double in the Chinese context, the relation between an individual inner self and their eternal environment. And through this way, we like to explore the process of subjectivization, which engage how they engage in technology of the self, ethical self-care, and aesthetic self-stylizations. So it's been in the context of China, how these theories can be employed. For example, the Chinese party state employ neoliberal technology to educate, nurture, and mobilize citizens to act independently, thus governing at a distance, growing socialism from afar. And that's the theoretical perspectives and the context we would like to highlight first. And therefore, this article targets using technologies of the self as devices and make it possible social construction of the player's personal identity in esports, which was regarded as a major change in the context of neoliberal Chinese society. And about the method, as explained above, we use qualitative semi-structured interviews with 30 interviews conducted exclusively with male professional esports players. So the female is underrepresented in these studies. And the average age of the participant and the way of interviews and about the 2 rounds of interviews, the detail of the method is presented here. So next is about the main bodies of our studies or the main research finding, 3 main research findings. The first is about the confidence, but which is not so solid. It's very frustrating. So we title it as frustrating confidence. So the players often suggest that the confidence was inborn as part of their own nature. Shaping confidence as a description of one's own character essentially points to the close concept of ethic, which can be understood as the elaboration of the form of relations to self that enables an individual to fashion himself into a subject of conduct. That is Foucault retained the original meaning of the word ethic in ancient Greece, which was related to character as a dimension of ourselves. The confidence that esports players elude is more masculine than feminine, which may be because esports is a male-dominated domain. However, the more essential reason is the elitist pursuit of players. For example, they often believe that they are gifted and have a better understanding of game mechanisms than the average person. When asked what role they play on the team, players use words like unique and irreplaceable to describe themselves, as one participant said here. I play the game more daringly and will not use the conventional way of playing, but according to common sense. As a player, I'm no more for playing with spirit and not like a block. So we can see here that meritocracy is seen as a negative. It's the issues of meritocracy. Meritocracy is seen as a negative and toxic part of game culture, but it is also an integral part of game design, where game practices such as leveling up are seen as a basic part of game designs. Yeah, and in China, meritocracy has always been seen a Confucian moral tradition involving various political norms that provides concrete guidance to Chinese esports. And the Chinese esport, but usually more broadly about the Chinese people, or especially the Chinese rulers. So to overcome the social stigma of video game addicts, esport players desperately need meritocratic principles to validate and motivate themselves. There's a saying repeated by players and their fans. It is harder to become a professional esport player than to get into Tsinghua or University or Peking University, the two top universities in China. Sorry. So they try to prove this through a strict mechanism for selecting esport players and the number of competitors. In other words, esport practitioners emphasize the competitiveness of esports and highlight its meritocratic characteristic to seek self-legitimization and self-worth. So this leads to a paradox. If confidence is intrinsic to esport players, as they claim, they do not need to fear social stigma. On the contrary, they attain confidence via game performance, namely an eternal sense of accomplishment. Therefore, the confidence of an esport player is not static. It's not something that it has or does not have, but it is so fluctuating, fragile, and unstable that players must find ways to maintain their confidence. So there are two common methods. One is huddling to keep warmth. 抱团取暖, huddling, get together to keep warmth. And since most esports events are team competition, players cherish each other's encouragement and recognition. The other is the strongest steel is forced in the hottest fire. Players generally acknowledge the importance of morale in competition and imply that they should not be afraid of difficulties. Given the link between esports and traditional sports, mental performance coaches already use confidence as a trainable skill to facilitate performance. At this level, confidence as ethic is translated into rules or principles of behavior which can be labeled as right or good, but connotation far removed from the original Greek meaning. Esport players may try to internalize, and they should internalize confidence as part of their personalities, but fail to maintain it. And external factors such as game performances and team cooperation can cause these technologies to fluctuate or even become invalid. And now, next is the second research finding about the optimism, but which is cruel. So we call a level or title it as cruel optimism. And because optimism is another self-technology for coping with an uncertain future. Uncertainty usually refers to the insecure side of esports industries and is therefore rarely viewed in an optimistic light. However, in the eye of professional players, uncertainty varies with hope. In the Chinese tradition, education such as the imperial examination has always played a major role in enhancing social mobility. In this context, many esports players are losers. Their families are ordinary or even poor, but they fail to cross class divisions through education. It was their lifelong dream of attempting championships and big bonuses. Neoliberal games aim to conduct the conduct of esports players outside of different games, transforming each of them into an enterprising self in the neoliberal world. For example, here, I do not want to set limits on my life and ask myself to do something in these circles, esports circles, right? I want my future to be filled with challenges or uncertainty, not one like civil servants. When I see the end in sight, the appeal of video game is that you never know what is coming. In a one-on-5 situation, you may be able to turn the tide and make a difference. Here's one of the interviews. And next, on the other side, working in the public sector is the first choice of many Chinese college students, many of whom are from top universities. As a self-employment process, they pursue the instrumental purpose of a stable and promising future and high salary, aspiring to live a middle-class lifestyle. So this is often observed in only child family or one-child families, in which parents demand that their children will win and maintain an advantage in society. And compared with an enterprising college students suffering from the problematics esports players in credential society choose a more radical and risky neoliberal existences. The game is players' life, and they treat life as a game. During the interviews, few esports players talk about clear career plans. Just as a game can be played again after a loss, it is a matter of course for many retired players to return to the game, even if they are on trial for much less money than they once earned. They refer to this process as a dream chasing. In this sense, the subjective technologies of esports players can be interpreted as inspirational optimism. The high price at the top of the career path, along with the lure of fame and fortunes, continues to draw young people into increasing fear esports competition. However, when people collectively pursue celebrity, it's exemplary and unstable desire. As government wrote. Yeah, oh no, that's not so government's definition here. Government wrote that by fame we refer to the possibility that circles of people who know about a given individual, especially in the connection with a real desirable achievement or perceptions, can become very wide and at the same time much wider than the circle of those who know him personally. And by this definition, a player's chance of becoming famous only reduced by time. Therefore, the understanding of players' optimism also ties in with the balanced, cruel optimism. They sustain the uncertainty of the present and attach themselves to the future sense of desire. And the desire for fame is an obstacle to esports players' flourishing. Thus, players either embrace cruel optimism as a form of skepticism. Here's some interview, also shown in this slide. The next session is about the effort, but which we call it the limited effort. Here we ask two questions. How can esports players overcome strong opponents? What is the concrete practice of esports players facing a cruel reality with optimism? They give the same answers to the two questions: hard work and persistent effort. And this emphasis on effort derives from the neoliberal nature of esports, which offers people the promise of success by stripping an effort discourse. In Cole's opinion, effort is an embodied exercise that allows the one who gives advice to memorize the truth he passes on and to others, but which he also needs for his own life. The transfer of truth also gives esports players a unique understanding of talent versus effort. Hard work can bridge some of the talent gap, but as game understanding, the game is always changing, and you must figure out the best solution in a split second based on the opponent's challenges. Also, strive to be consistent so that you can stay at the high level, reach your lower limits. Maybe you cannot improve anyone when you reach the upper limits, but you would not play poorly. So it's another interview we use here. So that is, hard work does not fully compensate for a lack of talent, but becomes an integral part of being a player. And esports players often use Chinese allusions to explain their effort. For example, only those who have endured the most difficult hardships become the outstanding people. Here's the fourth one, as we saw in this slides. 吃得苦中苦，方为人上人. The many allusions here, I think every Chinese people know these allusions. So it is similar to the Western saying, no pain, no gain, pointing to a set of practices that link to the principles of self-discipline, abstinence, and self-denial. However, the effort is not always effective, and sometimes it is more self-relief for the player. Apart from the talent gap, efforts fail to overcome the aging crisis caused by players' declining physical fitness. Moreover, a sudden change in game mechanisms can eliminate players' previous efforts. In addition, the efforts of professional players occurs more at individual levels, especially for teams that are still in the adjustment period. Cooperation among players is not tested enough, and the coach cannot provide effective guidance. And sometimes some teams even have no coaches. However, individual efforts are limited in their contribution to team athlete. When most players realize that teamwork is a bottleneck, they hope to improve their competitive level through practices so as not to drag down teammates. And esports players use two other illusions to construct a completely different view of effort, where the race of effort to destiny was reversed, with destiny being the decisive factors. As I show here, that to do one's level best, and I leave the rest to the God's will. 尽人事听天命, or a man proposes, God disposes. So in this sense, esports players constructed a completely different view of efforts, and where the race of efforts to destiny was reversed, as I explained above, that with destiny being the decisive factors. So you have your efforts, but it is not decisive factors in the esport. So the last session, the conclusions. As I explained, this article explores how esport players view their professionals and its choose games, and reflects on how this competitive generates their survival technologies in an unstable and disposable environment. We found that in the context of education as the main way to change one's destiny, esports players who have failed in education regain their confidence in the game and construct a set of new liberal technologies that are quite different from those of their highly educated peers. And furthermore, this study found strong mentalities in faculty mentality in neoliberal China. Working with China's sport authorities, athlete registration system, esports players have used their skills to negotiate their identity, transforming themselves from highly criticized internet athletes into stay indoors professional athletes. And this power diffuses the stigma of identity, but an unstable career can also make players change from enterprising athletes to cynical workers. And finally, we'd like to point out that esports players' self-technology is somewhat self-deceptive. Esports players should be aware that these technologies would mislead them into accepting precarious and disposable jobs. The myth of fame and victory also consumes the real power dynamics between esports players and the industries, leading to the exploitation of their players. So that's our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Lin. And Patrick just left a message to me. And first, I have to head to his lecture. He's sorry to you, but he left another paper that he wrote so many years ago. He said, which is quite similar to what you have presented, but he focused on game designer instead of the esports player. He would like me to share with you after. And also thank you for your presentation. And yeah, there are two options. One is is there any questions left from the audiences? Let's wait 1 or 2 minutes. Otherwise, probably they will send you email if they have the questions for you. And also my even though I have been included into the paper, but I have another question comes up to me when I came to your presentation. Do you think those effort, optimism, limitations for Chinese esport is only unique features for Chinese players, or there's something common when we're looking not just focus on Chinese, but also there are so many common things when you present outcome when you're looking at all the esport players worldwide.
Yeah, it's a good question about the confidence, the optimism, or the effort we present here. I would not say it is unique only in the Chinese context, but I think it's the quite special dimension, the special expression that the Chinese esport player would use. As we may have discussed previously, that it is due to the Chinese context about social stigma, right? And the education program, the education background of the esport players, they usually do not have a very good education background, and maybe they will not go to the higher education when they retire from the industries. So I think in the Chinese context, the self-confidence or the which are not so solid, and the optimism and the efforts is quite significant, or I would say have significant and special meanings for esport players in China. Even not unique, but with very special meanings for them. Yeah.
I see. And also I noticed yesterday, KPL is one of the program in Asian Games, and yesterday in the 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I found that almost all my industrial friends who are forward live streaming platforms, because KPL is the first time, or we will say esport is the first time that has been live streamed by CCTV. So everybody forward that news and shared. So I just figured out that actually how inconfident of our industrial people that they have. Even though in China we have a promising market and we have done great, but yesterday I just noticed that this is kind of inconfidence. Otherwise, they don't have to care too much with the CCTV live stream a lot, but everybody cheer for that. They thought that is the historical moment. So so we will see if that's the conflicts that between we have a huge market, but we have the less social acceptance.
Again, it is because all of these have a special meaning for them. Again, it's about the meaning. So especially in the Chinese context or in the traditional Chinese values, it's not just about, as you say, the market, the money. It's about the cultural status, because the CCTV is a symbol for as a political recognition. So this is not just important for the esports players, but for their families. You know, my son have been shown on CCTV. That means much things for their family. So it has special meaning for the players, and more important for their family. As you know, a family has a very important position in Chinese values. So
yeah, I see. There is another audience, Matt, who have left a question to you. Read.
I'm sorry. Would you like me to read my question?
Yeah, I'm reading your questions.
Oh,
yes, please. Hello, Matt.
Hi. I don't want to interrupt your train of thought as you're reading it.
So, okay.
Survival, yeah.
Yeah, I think Ipe and I have discussed this question in different ways. Again, it's about first about the context, the Chinese context, and especially the context of the traditional Chinese values, especially about the Confucian values. Usually, according to this traditional values, that playing games is anomaly. We have a Chinese old saying come from Confucius, 王物丧志. How can we translate it? That but anyway,
you play so hard, otherwise you will yeah.
So according to traditional Confucian values, playing games, no matter what, for any purpose, it's an anomaly. So not only for the young people, for the young players, especially for the family, it is not a good thing for the whole family if the young people play games. So they are in the dark side for about 20 or 30 years. The gaming industries or the esport industry in China. So hopefully it is a anomaly in Chinese society. So how can you deal as an individual deal with such anomaly, the society stigmas? So you need your own reason, as we explain here, that the technology of the self. You have to deal with yourself. You have to persuade yourself. You have to persuade your family. You have to persuade the society, to persuade the countries that no, I'm not a normal. I'm athlete. I'm compete for the nation to win the prize and things like that. So the normal is not for in the individual level, but in the context, the society, and even the tradition. Yeah, that's my response. Thank you.